Plebby16.
What's up, Plebheads? I'm Neil. I'm joined here tonight by my brother, the immortal one,
Mr. YouTube Baby.
Hey, Mr. YouTube. This is our channel's first ever pre-release official review.
No BS review.
No BS review.
Very, very thankful to Awesome Game Studios for giving us the opportunity to take a look at their new upcoming game, Fury Unleashed.
Yes, thank you guys for making this happen. Hopefully, we do it justice. Let's break it down.
Yeah, let's get into this. This game caught my attention. They released a demo a couple weeks back, and I downloaded it as soon as I saw it and realized that it was a roguelike built in the vein of Rogue Legacy, Dead Cells, something along those lines. As soon as you say those words, you've got my attention, because those are some of my favorite games that I've ever played.
Yep.
And this one here, basically, without giving too much away, you're playing through a comic book. You're playing as Fury, and you're playing through a comic book, basically, panels of comics, and going after the big bads in each of these comic books.
You're playing through a series of, 3 or more different comics?
Yep, 3 or more different comics. We've gotten through about 1.5 so far.
Yep.
This game has a legitimate difficulty to it, but we've gotten through about 1.5 so far. I think I'm level 49 as of this review, so we've made really good progress here. But there's a lot to digest and a lot to talk about on Fury Unleashed. So for those of you guys thinking about getting this game, you can check out right here on this screen. We're looking at the upgrade menu, and this game works a lot like Rogue Legacy. So if you've played that game, you're going to be really familiar with how the upgrading works.
Yeah, probably going to feel right at home. It's a great shot of your overall character progression screen, which, as we discuss all the time, is like our #1 most needed thing in roguelike.
When we play roguelikes, we look for permanent character progression. I want to say that again. We look for permanent character progression. It is our #1 most needed things in great roguelikes. It's something we absolutely have to have. And this game almost gets it right. And that's really important. It is you see the screen here, you see what's going on, you've got tons of things to upgrade. However, they don't necessarily always feel immediately relevant. And that is a miss for me, unfortunately. So when you're looking at what you get here, there's obviously some of the really basic ones like extra health and health drops, reload speeds, things like that. But so much of this game, ladies and gentlemen, is based on creating and maintaining a combo that a lot of these upgrades also are situationally based to when you are in the combo. So what I mean by combo, this game wants you to get 5 or more kills in a row without getting damage.
In a set amount of time.
In a set amount of time. Okay, so all this stuff can be upgraded to give you more time maybe to get it, whatever. But at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is get 5 kills without getting damaged in a set amount of time. That puts your guy in like Super Saiyan mode, right?
Yep.
And he gets more ink when he kills people, all this good stuff. But a lot of these upgrades as well are based on being in that combo.
Okay.
Being in that zone, so to speak. And what we don't see here is what I would call very basic roguelike 101 upgrades. Extra damage to your base damage, right? Extra maybe shield or extra armor pieces to start with. Different starting weapon damage or options. Now, it is possible that stuff exists later in the game, but we have 50 levels here and we don't see it. And I'm not seeing it in my current runs. So, for me, every time I start this game, now, all that stuff happens throughout the runs, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But for me, this is like starting a run on Dead Cells with the starter shield and starter sword, or starter bow and starter sword, every time. That is a massive letdown for me. And I can't stress that enough. Now, I'm not saying I need top gear when I start my run, but I want to feel as though my starting equipment is upgrading. When I start, my starting damage can be upgraded.
Even if it's by a point or 2 or 3, it still makes a difference, and it still, again, player feedback loop, right? It still makes you feel like what you're doing is having an effect on your character overall immediately, not situationally.
Yes, and so after, let's say, investing 10 to 20 hours in this game, I shouldn't feel that every run I am starting at point 0.
Rocket launcher, shotgun, pistol, machine gun.
And those weapons are always the same, and they never change, and the damage never changes. So I always feel like I'm starting at point 0 every run. I do not like that.
Okay.
And I don't believe that a progression-based roguelike should have that. Where when you're starting each run, as you continue to put points into things, your starting equipment and starting out ability should be better. Because many, many things here in the upgrading do not help you until you're in the combo. In order to get into the combo, you've got to be able to kill enemies. So, sure, you can do it when you're on the easy mode or if you adjust the difficulties.
Yeah.
But it's not very easy to do when you're in hard or one of the harder difficulty modes.
Well, now let me ask you this. I see that we have health points, 6 out of 10. Increase your maximum health points. Now, that is a character overall upgrade, but you're probably looking for things more like not just health, right? We want to see maybe a little defense boost, maybe a starting damage boost, regardless of combo, regardless of health totals, things like that. Again, that's what you're looking for, right?
Obviously, you're going to have that stuff. As you go through the runs, you're getting that stuff.
Of course.
Just like, think Dead Cells. For a lot of you guys out there that are watching, playing roguelikes, you're familiar with Dead Cells. You're ending up, you pick your starting weapon, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not your number one choice, but you're picking a starting weapon. Mm-hmm. And as you go, you find other weapons throughout the levels. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening here. But I'm just saying that starting moment, you're not starting with a new additional option. You've got the 4 different types of weapons you can take, but they're all the base weapon. And it's always, no matter what level you are, my starting weapon on level 1 is the same as it is at level 50. That's a letdown for me.
Okay.
All right, so from a progression standpoint, I definitely feel that they do have a lot of great things in here, but they're missing some key base level progression items that would allow me to feel that I could tackle this game on a harder difficulty.
Sure.
Okay? Now, can I beat Dead Cells on cell level 0, right, or the base game with one of the base weapons? Sure. Just like I can probably beat this on the easy mode with the base weapons. But am I going to be able to beat this on hard or whatever some of their other difficulties are? Am I going to come back to the harder levels with that base weapon? Probably not. So that for me is definitely a miss here.
Are you ready for me to start the gameplay clips and get into this?
Let's get into the gameplay a little bit.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Because upgrading for me is paramount in these games. I have to feel that every run there's some progress being made to my overall ability to succeed. This is number 1 for me. I will play this over and over and over and over and over again as long as I feel that I'm getting better. And as long as I feel that what I'm doing matters.
Player feedback loop is so important in games like this, and when you don't have the proper version of it, it really can put a damper on the player and the user experience for sure.
So you can see that I'm in the combo here, 12, and every time I kill a guy, the combo goes up 1, and it keeps going. And again, this is easy mode. And I'm glad there is an easy mode here because it allows me to get through some of the game. It allows me to get my character upgraded.
Sure.
And I can continue to upgrade my character while I'm in that mode. I have not made it past the 2nd level of the first comic book in the hard mode. So for me, this game feels extremely unbalanced. Where the hard mode, and again, I say hard mode, that's what they call it here, but that's the quote-unquote recommended level of the game from the developers. So they must be really good at their own game, but I'm wondering if they had other people without their skill level try it, because I don't find it accessible in the hard or recommended level at all. It takes an incredible amount of grinding to get where you need to be. So, that being said, I will continue to play through it, obviously, because I do enjoy it. There's something very fun about it.
Yeah.
And you can see here graphically that it's impressive.
Well, I think graphically it has a really fun appeal, right? We were talking about that comic book appearance, and, you and I sat down, we had a nice game session about 2 nights ago, and, at first I was 50-50 on this game, but, when we got to play it together, we had a good time.
Yeah.
It's a fun, we were playing a couch co-op, too.
Yep, this does include couch co-op,
which is really
so
nice.
there is that, but the one caveat I want to make about that, because couch co-op is a selling point. It's absolutely a selling point. We love being able to play games together, whether it's you and I or me and the girlfriend. We're always looking for games to play together.
Yes.
So for those of you guys that have followed the channel here, you know that one of our favorite co-op roguelikes of all time is Children of Morta. It's probably the the most well-done roguelike from a co-op perspective that we've ever played.
Fantastic.
And this game in co-op has not reached that level of attention to detail. Now, it's absolutely fun to play with somebody else, but you're balancing 2 players being in the combo, and since you need to be in the combo for the player to be relatively effective against harder enemies, unless you both can get constant kills, one or both of you is not going to be able to maintain that combo. And because of the way the levels are laid out here, where they're vertical, when you come into larger levels, and I'm not talking about 1 or 2 character deep levels, I'm talking about some of the larger spaces that are multiple tiers high.
Yes.
If you fall, the camera does not pan out. Your character is lost on the screen, and you're going to get hit and killed, and you're not even going to know where your character is. It's a major, major issue.
I would say that is one of the things that the developers need to fix about this game.
That needs to be fixed. On the larger screens, the camera should pan out. If you're going to split up, that camera needs to pan out, or there needs to be some sort of split screen thing that comes in, or whatever they do. There's options for it, and we've seen it in other games. Because once one of those characters falls, you're screwed. Also, you split the chest, you split the armor, and so it's obviously harder for you to gain an armor level. But you do have 2 players shooting, so I can understand that there's going to be some balancing that needs to go on there.
Absolutely.
But make no mistake about it, I would say this game is best played in single player, just because it feels more tuned to be a game that requires both precision and speed, and it's hard to have both when you're playing with another player and trying to get that other player to follow the leader, so to speak.
Well, I remember the time I think I had, what was it, a 29 combo or something like that. I just kept yelling at you, let's go, keep up, move, because I wanted to keep the combo going, see how high I could get it. And, of course, I was dropping red orbs. I was dealing, doing whatever damage or whatever I was doing. Mainly, it's about those red healing orbs when you're in the combo.
So it's almost one of those things where when one player's in the combo, the other player just becomes his lackey, basically, and he's just following him around.
Take bullets for him if you have to.
And take bullets for him so the other guy stays in the combo. So, there may be some of that going on, but it's not a pure 2-player co-op experience like you'd get with something like Children of Morta, or a game that's built for 2-player from the ground up. This feels like 2-player was added.
Yeah.
Right? The game was built for 1 player and 2-player was added, and that might very well be the case. I'm not necessarily disappointed that it was added, because I always like the option to play with friends.
And the co-op is good.
And the co-op is good, and it is fun. It just, the entire game being built around being precise and having speed. Right? The combo does not increase indefinitely just for, for instance, in Dead Cells, you can increase how many enemies you've killed without taking a hit, and you don't have to do it with the speed. And then there's also a speed running thing in Dead Cells as well. So it lets you do either or. This game requires both, and it's a really important distinction to make when you're deciding if you're going to like this. And because so much of what you're doing requires that precision. So, as a pure co-op game, I don't know. There are better options out there from a roguelike perspective. If you have not played some of the big hitters like Children of Morta, those would be recommended first. Mm-hmm. If you're going to play this primarily as a single-player game, you'll be okay, and you can always invite a friend in so they can check it out. But
absolutely. It's nice to have the option.
it is nice to have the option. I don't want the developer to feel like I'm picking on them or I'm nitpicking it for including it, because I do like the option. It is nice to be able to play. I just wish it had been just a little better tuned to two-player.
I definitely think there's some mechanics missing, like you said, co-op wise. But overall, I'm not going to fault it too much for it. But it definitely, there's some mechanics that could use a tweaking.
Yeah,
in the co-op side of things.
So another thing, you guys can check out the levels here. There is a ton of projectiles going on these levels, and this is only the first level. When you get into the second stage, and I mean, we haven't even got to the third stage yet, but when you get to the second stage, the projectiles up them by a factor of 2. So as you can see, with how many different projectiles are going on and the little things that are shooting the projectiles down and all this stuff, I found it strange that there's no either ability or upgrade or whatever to destroy projectiles in the air. There is a shield that you get when you're in the combo, but again, destroying the projectiles just from base is not something that's doable. You have to avoid them at all times, and they're always there, right? The little things that shoot the green orbs or whatever, like you see in this photo here, they don't go away once you kill all the enemies. They're always there. And in the harder difficulties, you get hit by one of those, that's 10 damage.
Yep.
Which is outrageous.
It is.
Okay?
It's a ton of damage.
You know, that's absolutely nuts. So, again, you have no way to combat it. All these guys that are on the screen shooting at you, you can't melee them out of the way. There's no upgrade for that. There's no shield that you bring up to block them or any of that type of stuff, which I think would be a really great addition here to give you that defensive ability and say, hey, I got my... Because sometimes you're going to get in a jam and they're going to have 6-8 projectiles coming at you. Good freaking luck getting out of the way.
Yeah, you're screwed.
You're going to get hit. On the easy level, sure, it's 1 or 2 hits. 1 or 2 hit points. You can stomach that. On the hard levels, 10 per projectile. Better not get hit more than once.
And you don't have iframes after you get hit.
So let's talk about that. Think about, let's use Dead Cells, of course.
God, we're deep diving on this bitch.
We are deep diving on this, yeah, because I really take my roguelike seriously. It's a genre I really enjoy. So let's talk Dead Cells. When you do a roll in Dead Cells, you have iframes. You can roll through an attack. When you do the little sprint here, you don't have iframes. You still get hit. And if you do have iframes, they're so insignificant, we haven't found them yet. So, there's that. You don't really have a defensive ability here. There's no real defense. Other than maybe getting the enemies to shoot one way, going around the other way. But you can just see the amount of stuff going on the screen here at once, just in this one area. Now imagine that with 2 players trying to navigate it at the same time. It's very frustrating.
It's maddening.
And there is no defensive posturing. And I can't, for the life of me, figure out why that's not there. Because it should be. And if maybe it could be, you could choose to take the shield in place of your melee weapon. Or maybe you could choose... Maybe the shield's an upgrade, or maybe it's only available for 1 or 2 hits every X amount of seconds, or whatever it is. There's a way to put it in here that would give you a way to avoid that massive amount of mess that's coming.
Yes.
Okay? They do have a shield that comes up for you when you are in the combo. But again, I want to make it...
When you are in the combo.
I want to make it clear. When you're in the combo. So... If you get hit, you're not going to be in the combo. And it doesn't mean there's going to be less enemies happening or less things happening. So I just can't stress enough to you how this game is built around this idea of speed and perfection at all times, being in the combo at all times, and only... basically being able to be successful when you're in the combo. And when you're not in the combo, getting into the combo on the harder levels is exceptionally difficult. And therefore, this game lacks some type of balancing to help you get back to that quote-unquote in the zone or in the promised land that we want to be in at all times. So I wish there were more ways to feel like you could get your combo back, so to speak. And
Jdog got his combo back.
Yeah, it just misses a little bit on that.
And I think that is something, right? That detracts from the game just a little bit in the fact that you have this. I mean, this game. I'm watching your gameplay from the other night. I mean, this is just fun to watch, dude. I mean, this is just fun to watch. Well, I would have loved to have seen just even with the frying pan here. Why couldn't that block why couldn't that block be used to swat away ranged?
And so other things happen too. And because, again, we have to kind of focus on this combo idea that they've gone all out on this combo idea.
Well, the whole game is built around it.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll be in a spot where there aren't necessarily enemies around, or you've gone away that is blocked on the map here.
Yep.
And it doesn't necessarily show you right off the bat when you enter a level which way is or how to plan your route, so to speak. Now, you can use a fast travel system that they have built in to kind of get around, but at the end of the day, when you're in that combo and trying to maintain it, you don't necessarily know which way is the best or most efficient way to go in the level.
Absolutely.
And that leads to a lot of broken combos for me, because a lot of times I'm like, okay, I need an enemy to show up here so I can get back, keep my combo going. And they're not there. And by the time I get to one, the combos run out of time.
Yep, absolutely.
And I have that combo. That's something you can upgrade, is how much time you can stay in the combo. And I have that upgraded all the way, and I still run out of time. So it just feels like sooner or later, I feel like they could have made the levels a little more, easy to navigate or easy to plan how you're going to attack the levels, because it's, part of it is being able to complete the whole level in a combo or in a singular combo.
Yeah, if you're going to have a game that kind of pushes speed. that speed and that time-based play, then you definitely want to have systems in place to encourage said speed. So speaking of the systems, you mentioned the fast travel before. Tell me about it. Now, you and I kind of talked about this in our gameplay showcase previously. This fast travel system is kind of unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It allows you to go from frame to frame, and it resets your combo when you use it, which is really useful if provided you can use it and understand how each of the frames are connected to each other. So that's not something that's entirely clear right off the bat when you get into a level. Mm-hmm. And I find myself many, many times being in a situation where I'm going to go somewhere and it's a dead end. And so then the combo runs out by the time I get back to the next area I need to be at.
Or you get shotgunned by slime by these guys.
Sure. That's also going to knock the combo. But there's just different things like that to me, now, of course, it's opened up because I've been all over the level. But when you first start the level, it's not that immediately apparent. And that's something I think could have been different. So you can look at the level at the start and say, okay, this is the way I need to go to make this the most effective way that I can go, and therefore be the most effective at attacking this particular outlay of the level. Because again, the levels themselves are going to be randomly generated, right? You're not going to, it's not the same every time as is the way it is in most roguelikes for the most part. Now, they're all kind of the same theme and all that good stuff, but the general outlay of the enemies and all that stuff is random.
Yes.
So, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's one of those things where I just feel like there's literally a few more upgrades or abilities or things that could or should be added to this.
Well, let me ask you this then, because I hear you mention that a couple times. You mentioned it yesterday a little bit. But I didn't want to get too much into the review on it. With these couple tweaks, these things that we've kind of discussed here during this No BS review, do you think that could turn this into a real gem?
I do. I really do. Yeah, I think, it's a $20 price point, or between $20 and $24 price point. And I still feel like I would recommend it at that price, as it is now. Just because I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's quirky and unique, and the art style is fun as hell.
Absolutely.
And it does have good permanent progression, so every time you die, you're going to get some progression.
You feel like what you're doing matters.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. And you know, that in and of itself is probably enough for me to recommend the game, but it just doesn't get into that upper echelon of great roguelikes like I'd like it to. Because it's kind of one of those games where, like, you play it and you see the potential for absolute greatness in this game.
Oh my god, this could be amazing.
You see that incredible potential in this game, and it doesn't quite reach it, and it's kind of a letdown, you know? It kind of makes you go, oh, if only this, I wouldn't quite be as frustrated as I am with it. And that, I think, for me, is probably unfortunately, one of the main feelings that I have when I play this is, oh, if only this, or oh, if only this, I wouldn't have this level of frustration. And so it's kind of one of those bittersweet recommendations where it's like, yes, I still recommend it because there is that high level of character progression. There's progression throughout the levels. You find items, you can buy items, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's all that type of stuff that we look for. But there's just some of those uber frustrating moments where it's like, I can't believe there isn't starting weapon upgrading, or, starting damage upgrading, or starting defense upgrading, or a way to stop all the different projectiles on the screens that are just everywhere. Unless, of course, you're in the combo, which... good luck getting in there and against some of these guys. And again, this is easy mode, people. I'm getting my ass beat. So, I feel like I'm a relatively adept roguelike player, having beat, Children of Morta, Rogue Legacy. I've gotten through 3 Cells runs, Boss Cell 3 runs on Dead Cells. So, I mean, I'm not, like, the greatest of all time, but I think I'm competent enough that...
You're competent.
That I should be able to handle easy mode on this with some upgrading. And
pleb mode, we call it.
Pleb mode, yeah. And I think I'm going to get there once I get all the upgrades in. But there's just some things, like I say, that I'm like, okay, that really needs to be there. Or when there's 6 projectiles coming at you and you're in a little space with a top and bottom and you can't jump or dash and you have no iframes,
it sucks.
There's no out. There's no out. You have to take the damage. And it's like, okay, no. Where's my roll? Where's my speed boost should give me iframes or something, right? And it's just not there for me. So those are some of the things that I think prevent this from being in that upper echelon of games where I just want to come on here and say, this is a no doubt, bye, no questions. Yep. If you're a roguelike guy like I am, you're still going to buy this, right? I'm still going to tell you to buy it because I think you're going to get some good time out of it and you're going to get some good fun out of it.
Absolutely.
If you're new to the genre and you haven't played the big ones, if you haven't played Hades, Dead Cells, Rogue Legacy, if you haven't played the big hitters that kind of have built this into the category it is, that's where I recommend you start. This one goes into your sale bin, right? And you're going to pick this up at the $10 price point. 2-player mode could be better here, for sure. 2-player mode could be more accommodating to having 2 players in the game and on the screen at the same time.
Okay.
Instead of making it be a thing where one person is the general and one person is the follower, because it's the only way you can maintain the combo. And other than that, if you like what you see here, guys, I do recommend that you pick this up. I really do. If you're a roguelike fan, I really do recommend it because you're gonna get some good time out of it. So, you played a little bit. What's your thoughts, Neil?
Here's the thing. We talk about this co-op issue, right? And I agree, it's an issue. So before anybody takes this out of context, I do agree that it's an issue. If you have 2 players that are focused, if you have 2 players that are playing together, it is almost a non-issue.
It can be a non-issue, but if you have one player who
Totally
isn't as adept at the game,
totally understand,
and they miss a jump on one of these larger levels, they're off the screen.
And you're screwed.
They're done.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Sundered is another roguelike I really like. And in that game, they have the same thing. They have big areas.
Yeah.
So when one of the characters falls, they teleport back to the main.
Oh.
And that would be awesome to see that in this game as well. Or something instituted like that in this game to better accommodate that multiple player.
Fair. I thought the actual gameplay itself, right, with the dashing, I enjoy that. I enjoy those mechanics. I like the grenade options. I like the ability options. You can get sentry turrets. You can freeze the enemies on the screen. Mm-hmm. I like that stuff about this game. I like the comic book setting. I like the look of the game. That's why when I saw you playing it, I didn't immediately just walk by and say, "Oh, another stupid ass game he found for free on PlayStation. I can't wait till he gets bored of this one." And that's why I stopped and watched you, because there was something intriguing about this game. There was something exciting about what I saw. So I do think this game has a lot of potential, but I also echo what you said. This game does have some of those issues. And like I said, while I said with experienced players, the split or the screen loss is not an issue, it still can break your co-op experience for sure. It especially when you're both in combos, it forces this sort of, oh my god, let's play as fast as we can, and you're more likely to make mistakes, but you got to keep that combo going so you can get your health orbs and get your health back up so you can play further, so you can beat the harder enemies. So it kind of feels sometimes like the systems in this game work against each other.
Exactly.
And I know it took me a while to get there, but that is a really important point that I want to make. The game's mechanics should not be fighting with each other and should not feel like they're making you, the player, say, okay, do I want a combo or do I want to play this part safely?
Exactly.
Like you should be encouraged to stay in a combo, not find yourself saying, oh fuck, I played that part too fast. Like I don't know how to say it any other way. Mm-hmm. The systems should not be working against each other. I like the weapon variability. I like the things like the deal with the devil, the random chests. I love the surprise bosses in the stages. Yeah. I thought it was so cool. And some of them are like super, like,
they're fun bosses.
Tarantillo, like really creative stuff. You're in the jungle, kind of maybe a little Aztec setting, like I like that stuff, right? It has a theme, it has a vibe, it has a look for each of the different comic books, each of those different levels, and I like that. You're fighting the soldiers in the second comic book, and everything stays in that theme with like the choppers and the tanks and the different bosses that you fight. And I thought that was all really cool stuff.
And the artwork is fantastic.
The artwork for this game, whoever did the artwork for this game, monster, mega, ultra shout out to you, because you deserve all the praise. Like, the artwork is phenomenal. It looks so good.
Yeah, this is one of the best looking. It's not a pixel art. It's a very high fidelity graphical art.
Yes, absolutely,
which is very nice.
And another thing I like,
comic book. It looks exactly like you're playing a graphic novel,
basically. And another thing that I really, really liked about this game was how easy it was for you to say, "Hey, Justin, Neil, you want to hop in and play some Fury Unleashed with me tonight?" Sure. Turn on my controller, sign in. Co-op, boom, we're in. It was easy to get into. It was easy to pick up. I had never played it before. You explained what the buttons did, and we played.
Yep.
And we played well. So it was easy for a new player. I'm not as much into the roguelike as you are, but I do enjoy them. And it was easy for a new player like myself to say, "Hey, I could get into this." And it was fun, and it was appealing. But I definitely think there's some mechanics issues with the game, and at the end of the day, if I have to rate the game, I'm at a 7. I'm at a solid 7 and a recommendation. I'm not a, oh my god, rush out and buy this game right now, it's the next Dead Cells. But I'm at a, if you're looking for a good, fun experience solo, and at times a pretty damn good experience co-op, go get it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. That's my honest thoughts on the game.
Yeah, and I'm kind of there with you too. It depends on where you're at in the roguelike continuum, right? If you played them all, the big ones, and kind of exhausted yourself on them like I have, and you're looking for something else to kind of sink your teeth into, I think you're going to be okay here.
Yeah.
If you haven't exhausted yourselves on those other games yet, I think you're going to finish those up first, because they're more complete experiences as far as their mechanics go, and then you're gonna get this on the sale price. So either way, I think I can give you the recommendation here because I do like what I see here. I've had a ton of fun with it just because I'm kind of in that vibe for a great roguelike right now, or a good roguelike right now, and I haven't had a chance to really find a new one in a while. So I think you can be okay here with this.
Well, let me ask you this, and I think this is a question that you and I talk about all the time. You know how difficult it is for us to pick up a game and still be playing it a week or two later. You know, for us, we're playing all kinds of different games. We see all kinds of new games come out every day. There's a lot of games prying for our attention. Now, we received this game for free. We were gifted the code from the developers.
Yep.
Are you going to play Fury Unleashed ever again?
Yes, I'm definitely going to finish it. That being said, I am unsure. This is important. If I will play it on the harder difficulties.
Okay.
I am unable to progress at a reasonable rate on the hard or recommended difficulty.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yep. And so I will beat through this on the easy difficulty. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to succeed at the harder difficulties. There's 2 difficulties apparently that are more challenging than the hard one. I'm definitely not going to be beating it on that anytime soon, unless there opens up some additional weapons or abilities or something. So, that being said, those are things I do look for. I do look for replayability. I do look for things like that in my roguelikes, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get it here. I definitely feel I'm going to finish the game, and I'm going to probably feel like, hey, I got 100, 120 levels out of this, and, 25, 30 hours.
Yeah.
But am I going back into the
real meat and guts den and diving in?
Am I going into the den? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well,
I don't know if it has that sort of staying power based on its current level of upgrades. And I feel like once I get all the upgrades, because you can get the upgrades in easy. So then what are you doing once you have all the upgrades? That's something I think about too, because you're going to maybe play through some of these other difficulties, but if you don't have any upgrades to get...
The upgrades need to scale with the difficulty.
Is there a plus level of the upgrades?
Ooh.
That would be awesome. So there's an idea for them if they want to add something. Add a plus level to these upgrades so that when we go on the harder difficulties, we got something to keep working for, to keep us playing.
Absolutely.
That's a huge thing that they could do.
Absolutely.
So those are things I think about. I'd love to see that stuff.
And if we do find that stuff, we'll definitely bring it to the viewer's attention.
We will. And it would be awesome if that stuff, if they do add some post-release content, that'd be amazing if they would consider stuff like that. Again, to keep us playing. We want to keep playing. And once we have all the upgrades, then it's like, okay, I
either get really good or I don't play anymore.
Or I either can beat it or I can't.
Yeah.
Right? And
True. We
all have a skill max, right? And some gamers are better than others, and I'm not claiming to be any sort of wunder gamer by any stretch. So if I can't keep upgrading, then I look for something else. So that's where I'm at with it. I think based on what you see here, if you're looking for that easy or whatever, if you're looking for a singular playthrough, get the upgrades, and you like roguelikes, I think you're going to be okay here.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Otherwise, you wait and you pick it up at $10.
Plebs, we'd love to have your thoughts down in the comments. Let us know what you thought about our No BS pre-release review for Fury Unleashed. Again, thank you to Awesome Game Studio for providing us with the PS4 code for this game.
Yes, thank you for giving us an opportunity to play this on PS4. It is my preferred console of choice, and thank you for that.
And we will see each and every one of you right here next time for more content and no BS reviews like this.
You're welcome.
GG, you plebs.